Happening now, Albuquerque police traffic investigators are trying to figure out what happened that caused a motorcycle to crash, killing the rider. The motorcycle was going northbound on Coors just north of Gonzales when he somehow left the roadway and drove into the median. That's where the motorcycle flipped and the driver was thrown off. He was taken to the hospital where he died. APD says it is not known whether alcohol was involved, but they say it appears that speed was a factor. The rider's name is being withheld until his family is notified.
And happening now, firefighters are having a very tough morning. They're camping out in the middle of the Sandias trying to get the Piedra fire out. As of last night, it had already burned about 50 acres. Now these crews are digging trenches in a very rough terrain to stop that fire from spreading. News 13 pilot reporter Bob Martin gives us a bird's eye view of what's going on.
A scary sight for the metro, a growing column of smoke from the northwest side of the Sandias. A Forest Service lead plane began to coordinate an aerial attack, repeatedly guiding in air tankers, dropping retardant. Those were able to immediately fill up again at the sunport. The strategy: build some retardant lines around some of the fire, but also hit many flames directly, again and again. A large sky crane used water to knock down part of the main fire and hit some of the many spot fires created as embers were carried by gusty winds to new areas of forest. Fortunately, the fire has mostly been staying in the low grass, underbrush, and deadfall trees. On the ground, hotshots and even a couple of the state's new hand crews made up of military veterans have the back-breaking job of building fire breaks in the very rugged terrain. It's hoped as the fire slows overnight, ground crews will make significant progress in building containment lines. Bob Martin, KRQE News 13.
And firefighters are also looking for whoever is making their job even tougher by setting fires in the foothills. About 6:30 last night, Bernalillo County firefighters say 3 fires started here off Forest Road 333. It's on the way to the La Luz Trail. Our photographer found one of these small fires still smoldering in the brush near the cactus. Firefighters got the fires out pretty quickly thanks to the crews working the Piedra fire.
We did reallocate the resources down to here, the air tankers and the helicopters down here, to just put some buckets on it, and it did help suppress it right away.
Yeah, thank God those didn't get out of control. Now investigators are trying to figure out who started these fires, how they did it, and why. Elizabeth?
It could be a busy fire season in New Mexico, and things could go from bad to worse. Just this week, New Mexico was listed as the driest state in the nation by the Federal Drought Monitor. A large part of the state from southern to central New Mexico, along with parts on the east side and northeast, are now labeled as exceptional dry zones. Video from Sky News 13 earlier this week clearly shows the once mighty Rio Grande now drying up in the Hatch Valley. It's putting much of the state's chili farmers in a dire situation. In fact, it hasn't rained there since last November. And the fear of a wildfire has police and firefighters in Santa Fe keeping a watchful eye on homeless camps in the bone-dry foothills. They want to make sure fire pits used by the homeless don't spark a wildfire. Fire pits are a major concern for officers because the camps sit less than a quarter mile from the nearest home. One spark could threaten several houses.
There were signs of the burnt wood. A lot of them were in pretty dangerous areas, you know, underneath some pretty dry, dense areas where there's a lot of trees.
Police took down the names of some of the homeless folks and issued them a verbal warning. If they come back, they will be cited. Cops are conducting daily patrols of the area. The case against an admitted squatter accused of setting a fire in Santa Fe isn't over just yet. Police say new charges are being filed, even though the old ones have been dropped. The homeowner claims 44-year-old Moses Gold caused nearly $1,000 in damages to his home after breaking in twice last week. The owner tells us that the man used the shower and started a fire in a closet. Well, the judge dismissed burglary and other charges because of a lack of probable cause. The homeowner is now afraid Gold will try something again. Police say the alleged suspect told them that he was going through hard times but would pay for the damage.
Well, one school in Albuquerque is now getting its students ready in case an attack ever happens there in a somewhat frightening and very lifelike way. New Life Baptist Academy does drills for situations it hopes will simply never happen. 15 students are actually part of a volunteer team called The Warriors, they train once a week so they can learn how to take down an attacker, even one with a gun.
If someone comes through the door, we just try to take them down, and someone will come and help us.
The kids say, I know what to do. And so anytime you know what to do, there's not the fear of the unknown.
New Life Baptist Academy's training is getting national attention. It was just on the show Vice, which is on HBO. Well, investigators now say the school bus driver killed in a crash last month died from the impact. Pat Valdez and 9 kids were on the bus back on April 8th when it swerved off this winding road and went down a small hill just north of Espanola. 3 students were seriously hurt and Valdez died. He was 69 years old. Investigators are still waiting for toxicology results to see if Valdez had a medical issue that caused him to lose control of the bus.
Well, if you are looking for a job this morning, now's the time to break out your best clothes and your resume.
Because hundreds of new jobs opening up as we speak at the new Albuquerque Downs Casino. News 13's David Romero is there right now. So David, when do we start applying for the jobs?
Well, that's starting Monday of Tuesday of next week, Matt. And of course, if some don't have the resume ready yet, they better get cracking on it this weekend because, like I said, it's coming up and there's about 400 positions they're looking to fill. Now, the new facility on the other side of the State Fairgrounds, which is on the southeast corner, is set to open by mid-June, just in time for the horse racing season. Available positions range from everything, including food and beverage service, servers, cashiers, to cooks and chefs. Now, the Downs Casino is expanding from the old facility and, of course, increasing their job base. And even after the new casino opens and those 400 positions are filled, more seasonal workers may be brought on board to work during the racing season. According to Downs officials, these positions are more than just jobs.
They're careers. For me, it's been 13 years. So, I started here temporarily, seasonally, and 13 years later, now I'm proud to say that I'm part of this new growth. So it's definitely more than a job.
Now, there's an interesting way that they're doing this for those jobs. There's for people living in certain zip codes of the city. Those are the ones closest to the fairgrounds. Now, they include residents living in zip codes 87106, 87108, 87123, and 87131. People living in those areas can go to Monday's job fair here at the Downs Racing Casino, the old facility, from 9 to 5 on Monday, and that's at the first floor VIP lounge here at this building. And for more information, you can go to KRQE.com if you want to get those numbers jotted down again to see if you're living in the right zone. Otherwise, the whole positions open up to everybody. That includes the general public starting on Tuesday. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, David. The new casino should put a dent in the city's unemployment rate. Albuquerque, we found out this week, had lost 1,400 jobs in the last year. And